after Bruce Wayne demanded Alfred to show him where his Batcave was, Alfred tried doing everything in his power to convince him that this was a terrible decision, because after watching him destroy his mental and physical health every single night for what seemed like forever, he was happy that Bruce had finally started living for himself for once by settling down with Julie and leaving his mission in the past. However, despite the fact that Bruce was still suffering from memory loss, there were so many hints and so much evidence implying that he used to be Batman that he couldn't just stand around and do nothing while Bloom continued terrorizing the city. So eventually Alfred revealed where his cave was and then took him to a machine that he made that was embedded with all of his memories because its original purpose was creating Batman clones. But Alfred also claimed that if Bruce tried using it to restore his memory, it would end up killing him because during the simulations he ran with it in the past, every single host died from the shock of trauma he inflicted upon them, which basically meant that Batman was too much for another mind to handle, and those minds were completely empty. So he couldn't imagine what it would do to Bruce's mind since it was already filled with memories. And that wasn't the only problem, because apparently Alfred destroyed the machine's server, so the memories were completely gone now. Nevertheless, Bruce was confident that his past self would be smart enough to create some sort of backup server and eventually discovered a full backup of the memory drives called the Alfred protocol. So not too long after that, he strapped himself inside to start regaining his past identity, but almost immediately upon Alfred activating the machine, it was more than apparent that his body couldn't handle the massive surges of energy it was dispersing as his vitals continued dropping lower and lower. However, that's when Bruce was struck by the sudden realization that in order for Batman to live, Bruce Wayne needed to die. So Alfred needed to ramp the system's power up even more than he already was until Bruce was fully brain dead, and then run the machine one more time at full strength. But after Alfred had already lost Bruce once to the Joker, asking him to kill the boy he gave his entire life up for was like asking him to do the impossible. So that's when none other than Bruce's girlfriend Julie stepped in, exclaiming that she had always known that he was Batman, and that even though he would lose his memories of their relationship if this procedure worked, she was willing to pull the trigger if it meant the city would regain Batman. So despite being such a hard decision, she ran the system at full power twice exactly as she needed to, and at the very moment that Bruce gained consciousness, he looked over towards Alfred, telling him it was time to go to work. But sadly, that's when this issue comes to an end, but if you want to see what happens next, let me know in the comments down below.